Poople's cat. You ever wonder how much money people make from YouTube by doing videos and such like? I used to. Now I know. Stay tuned. This is pretty controversial, but I'm doing it anyway. One of the problems talking about money is people define wealth in terms of value as a human being, and that's not altogether true. They also define the amount of wealth you get in terms of your value as a human being, and that's completely not true at all. I would argue that the hardest working people, generally speaking, are on the lowest earnings. Generally speaking. I would also argue that somebody like me, I am not worth $10,000 a month, and yet that's approximately what I've been earning, but not from YouTube. I'm not prepared to talk about other people's possible incomes on YouTube without talking about mine, and the slide I put up, and I'll just show it again, shows my potential earnings that I would have had over the last year if I'd been monetized. I've never been monetized. I think it's a bad idea. The reason I have now switched my channel to monetization is, simply put, promoted videos carry ads. A lot of my videos I used to use music that was copyrighted, and the copyright owners of the song, not the artist generally speaking, would get the money from advertising. And I have noticed a disturbing trend. Those ads get the video watched. And at the end of the day, my job here is to learn myself about prepping and survival, but also hopefully to create a bit of a community where other people can share that. Not that this is a community, it's just a bunch of random people that type stuff occasionally and occasionally do videos. So that's the other thing. By creating a false sense of community and otherness, us versus them, what creative hosts can do is actually get people to send them money on a regular basis via Patreon and PayPal, and even by check. Have you ever thought about that? So no surprise, I'm using Social Blade, and it's not accurate. It doesn't actually reflect demonetized videos and demonetized channels. So when you look at the figures, bear in mind that the advertising rates for those hosts is almost certainly going to be at the 0.25 cent range, the very lower part of the range. Very few hosts are going to get the $4 range. Some are, but I guarantee not one prepper is. So one of the major problems I have with YouTube is I can't boot subscribers to my channel and block them for life. I find that kind of annoying. When I look at my channel and I look at who's subbed to it, and when I look at the biggest number of the bigger channels with the biggest subs, what I find are people who are watching my channel but never interacting with me. So I have to wonder, are they doing it out of the goodness of their heart to grow my channel, or are they doing it to get video ideas? You be the judge. It's pretty obvious to me what's going on, because it becomes a business, and people say, well, they work hard creating videos and the cost of the technology and the rest of it, they deserve to earn good money. No, they don't. This is a hobby. It's a hobby. It takes a camera, an internet connection, which almost everybody in the West has, and a bit of time and a bit of OCD and a little bit of thought and some ideas. And it's the ideas that the bigger channels are running out of. Therefore, they are subscribing to channels like mine, and they're scooping ideas up. I see it all the time. I've seen it for quite some time, and I've mentioned it before. I don't really care. The information needs to get out there. So what I'm doing is I'm monetizing to get my information out there. And we'll see. I've left a few of the videos non-monetized just to see if there's actually a palpable effect over time. It will be interesting to see. Now, Canadian Prepper's a sub of mine, and didn't know that, so I think he's fair game. Now, this is a shock. The reason it's a shock is he's not earning anywhere near what I figured he would be. When you look at what he's actually earning, estimated just from YouTube AdSense, this isn't from product placement, store, PayPal or Patreon or anything else, the figure you really need to look at is the 7,500 American a year. That is probably what he's making, not 120,000 American a year. Prepping gets demonetized, advertisers aren't really convinced that we're very friendly, and I'm shocked. I honestly thought, with the amount of work he's putting into it and the amount of time and effort he puts into his productions, I honestly thought at this point he'd be on about 50 to 60,000 American a year just from AdSense. So like I said, I figured it was fair game if they were sub to me, I'd reveal their income. This one's fascinating. He's the only one I can find that's earning absolutely nothing. Way to go, Facehall, you're the man. One of the people I subbed was Survival for Normal People. I stopped subbing him for various reasons. However, he's making a good coin very early on, and I'm wondering if he gets to a certain amount of money, whether he'll stop Patreon or reduce Patreon to just $1, or does he even do Patreon? Does he do PayPal? Because that's the one thing I want you guys to think about, and girls to think about, is when you have a big YouTube channel that you really like, are you actually going to send them money? And if you are sending them money, what's it for? Cameras cost money, editing costs money, all the rest of it. Absolute hogwash. It really doesn't cost that much money. And if you're kicking in at about 1 million to 2 million views a year, you're probably covering your costs, not your time costs and your labor costs. But this again puts it into the thing. If you are trying to teach people how to survive the apocalypse, SHTF, is it moral to charge them money for that? Because if you charge them money for that, some people can't afford it. So you're actually saying, if you're too poor to give me money, perhaps you should just die. Now, I know a lot of great channels out there don't operate that way, and you know what? Their income level reflects it. I've been a patron subscriber to Rewild University, Kenton and his wonderful family for many, many years, and I love his stuff. He's one of the most generous hosts there is on YouTube, and you can see that his income really doesn't reflect the number of views and everything else, because he's not really monetizing and he's not trying to get AdSense revenue. He's earning a pittance from YouTube, and seriously, people doing this really kind of do need Patreon. Now, I just want to point out a couple of things about what we're looking at here, because Ken's a good page to look at, because I'd like you to get him in your head, because if you're going to send anybody money, send it to him. He has a C+ ranking. The ranking is actually what you're actually entitled to be according to their program in terms of in YouTube. So if you're an A-lister, you're coining good, you've got good growth potential, they really want you, you're doing everything right. Canadian prepper who obviously studies YouTube and dynamics a lot in terms of views, he obviously does, only has a B ranking, which I think is interesting. It's probably because a certain percentage of his videos are not advertising friendly. If he actually leapt away from core prepping and actually just did videos that were purely designed to get YouTube clicks, I'm pretty sure he could be an A ranker in no time. The other one this does, it actually tells you where you rank in terms of everybody on YouTube, and that's pretty interesting. Now, I'm not sub to either of these guys for what I think is absolutely great reasons, but you can see they're not actually making a huge amount as well from YouTube. And again, please remember, look at the lower figure, not the upper figure. The people that have been making money for some time from YouTube and are using this technology, this software system, are telling me you should actually look at the middle figure of the earnings. I'm being kind, I'm looking at the bottom figure. Now, there are people out there, even if you use the bottom figure, who are earning a colossal amount of cash and have active Patreon, PayPal, stores, Amazon affiliate links and the rest. And it's a bit beyond this video, but I will point out that Amazon affiliate links don't actually generate a huge amount of money for the host. But what they do is, as soon as the person enters Amazon via your link, even if they then browse away from what you're suggesting and they say buy a refrigerator, as long as they haven't closed out their browser, you actually get a percentage of all purchases that the person makes whilst in the original opening browser for your Amazon affiliate links. Bet a lot of you didn't know that, did you? When we talk about advertiser friendly, I imagine the Townsends are fairly advertiser friendly. I would imagine an assumption of $100,000 to $150,000 American a year just from AdSense alone on their site isn't unreasonable. It's a big income. No surprise, the further you get away from prepping and survivalism, the more money you're going to make from advertising. Have a look at this one. That's a lower figure there for those guys. Pretty stunning. That's a lot of money. So what I'm going to say for you guys is, at the end of the day, do use Patreon. Do use PayPal, do use Super Chat and live streams to support preppers and content hosts that you actually are getting money for, value from. But before you click send, before you actually send them cash, have a quick look at the software system. Just check out that these people actually are as poor as they portray. A lot of the homesteading channels, and you can look it up yourself, are getting at least 25 to 35,000 American dollars a year. Sure, they have to pay a bit of tax on it if they're declaring. I hope they are, but they're actually not as impoverished as they might be showing you. And a lot of people on YouTube entered YouTube specifically for channel growth, click sub me, sub me. So where does that leave me at the end of the day? It leaves me having now monetized my channel to see if I can actually get more viewers to my channel. Now I'm estimating I'll earn 25 American a year. I'll be shocked if I earn anything, because I expect to be demonetized a lot, because I'll keep speaking what I want to. I'm not going to go to try and get clicks to make revenue, to make money. As I said at the opening of this, my money I earn is not a value of my worth. Last year I earned 275,000 Canadian dollars by working 2 jobs and having a wife with good income as well. My personal income was 170,000 Canadian before tax. I don't have many write-offs. So I hope that tells you, unless you're earning significantly more than 170,000 Canadian a year, and you can do the math, sometimes it's worth more than an American figure, and sometimes it's worth less. Like now I think it's about 60% or whatever. So you can figure out, is it worth actually giving me money to promote my video? I'd like to get a lot more technology. I'd like to be able to live stream. I'd like to be able to do a lot more better videos outdoors, and I need to buy equipment for that. But because this is my hobby, I'm going to buy that over time with my own earned income. I don't expect you to stump up the cash to pay for my hobby. And I think that's kind of the problem a lot of us are having. Tyler from Let's Talk About Prepping has a couple of videos which I'll link in the description that are excellent on this, and the comments are really interesting. And as I said at the beginning, this is a very, very diverse topic for me to even attempt, and I do expect to lose subs about it. I do expect to see people get angry about it, but I don't think inherently being non-transparent and hiding income streams from YouTube is actually doing anybody a favor. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to make an earned income, a reasonable earned income in the West from YouTube, you've got to be bigger than Canadian Prepper. A lot bigger than Canadian Prepper. He's making a good income out of this. He's doing a lot of work for it. And it cripples me to say it. He ain't earning anywhere near what I thought he was. And I don't think many people are. Obviously some of the smaller channels have actually got the trick in how to get the click, click, click views, and they're actually getting fairly substantial boosts in their AdSense revenue, purely because they're aiming stuff at you guys to get you to click and to get other people to click and to share. What I am going to say is the video after this one is actually going to be a debunking video on the Great Nebraskan Flood Famine. Multiple videos out there screaming we're going to have famine and extremely high food prices in the summer due to the Nebraskan floods. As much as it pains me to say this, there's absolutely no evidence and no truth to that. Climate change is a huge risk factor. It's something I'm actively preparing for, and this is partially responsible for the Nebraskan floods. But by itself, Nebraska is not going to raise farm prices for beef, wheat or anything by any particular amount in North America. Rising oil prices will. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Keep it civil in the comments. Like I say, I have highlighted a few channels. Please don't attack those channels. This is not the place to do so. If I notice you doing that, I will not allow your comments to go up. These comments for this video will be pre-moderated, purely because I don't want people to use this to explode and pour venom onto any of the channels I've mentioned, or onto any of the channels that they decide to use my video as a sounding board for their particular pet peeves about those channels. Keep it civil, but keep it open and keep it honest. And whatever you do, unless you've got a fairly good income, stop giving YouTube content creators money. You really don't need to. You really, really don't need to. Toodles.